back, America. We're here with our friend, Senator Ted Cruz, Mr. Conservative, if you ask me, the United States Senate. He won a resounding re-election. He'll be with us, thankfully, 6 more years. Senator Cruz, all this budget debate happens over and over again. So much of the budget is said to be off the table. The trajectory is very, very problematic for the nation. I have to ask you a question. Do we really live in the world of the economic socialist? Because I'm convinced we do. We never have a debate about free markets. We never have a debate what's best for the private sector, future generations. We never have a debate about the immorality of what's taking place. We just assume redistribution of wealth is a good thing, big government's a good thing, we just trim it on the edges and so forth and so on. So are we living in the world of the economic socialist?
Well, unfortunately, there is a big spending coalition in Washington that consists of all the Democrats and about half the Republicans. And that has been true for a long, long time. You know, while everyone was focused on this continuing resolution battle, very few people focused on this week the United States Senate voted to add $200 billion of additional debt to Social Security and to drive up the debt for Social Security and to accelerate the insolvency of Social Security for seniors by 6 months. Now, they did so to correct something called the WEP, the windfall elimination provision. We should correct that. That's something that has treated for a long time retired cops and firefighters and teachers unfairly. I've had legislation for 7 years to fix the WEP, to take care of cops and firefighters and retired teachers. The difference is the bill I have that fixes the problem costs $25 billion. What did Congress do? They spent $200 billion, and they hurt every senior in America that relies on Social Security, and that got nary a blip on the 6 o'clock news. Nobody noticed another $200 billion as seniors were being sold down the river.
But Social Security itself, with or without any of this, according to the trustees, is going to go broke.
Yep.
And nothing's done about it. So we're fighting over about 26% of the budget, discretionary. We're actually fighting over 55% of that, since 45% is defense. And we're talking here about continuing resolutions. This is what I mean. It's sort of, it's not pointless. These battles are very, very important. But I really blame we, the people, because if the politicians in Washington, D.C. understood that we are concerned about the utter and complete evisceration of our finances and our economic system, if this continues, and at the end of the rainbow, there is no Social Security, there is no Medicare, and our children and grandchildren are stuck with the debt on top of all the rest of it. I just feel that discussion needs to be had, but for some reason it can't be had, because as soon as somebody opens their mouth about reforming one of these programs, they're under vicious attack and evil lies. No?
Well, look, Mark, the good news is this battle over the continuing resolution and the shutdown right now is a skirmish. It's a little skirmish at the end of the year. We are less than a month away from a brand new administration, a brand new Congress. We're less than a month away from having a Republican majority in the Senate and a Republican majority in the House. So we'll get through this skirmish right now. But the real battle is next year. And the reason the real battle is next year is if you're going to change the direction of this massive spending, massive debt that we have, if you're going to bring back economic growth, you've got to do so through legislation that can pass through both houses. Right now, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats still control the Senate. That will change in just a few weeks. But right now, we don't have the leverage to pass anything in the Senate. In January, we will have a Republican majority. And in particular, what we're going to do is use a procedure called budget reconciliation. What's relevant about that is budget reconciliation is the most important exception to the filibuster. It means that you can pass legislation through the Senate with just 50 votes. You don't need 60, which you normally need. That we're going to take up, I believe, 2 budget reconciliations next year. The first one I expect us to do very early. We'll focus on securing the border, investing in a serious way. We are a month away from securing the border. That is going to happen in January and February of next year. And the second one is going to focus on extending the tax cuts, on reg reform, on energy. And that's really the opportunity where we need Republicans to come together and lead. When we next year are using budget reconciliation, if Republicans stand together, we can enact massive reforms.
And I think that's what the people want.
Yes.
By a landslide. I think that's what the people want. And you're right. We're poised to do that with President Trump, you folks running the Senate and the House of Representatives. Lots more. We'll be right back.